Right, well, here we are at a typical garden, cunningly disguised as a patch at our offices, but for demonstration purposes I think it should do nicely. Now myself and Christoph are going to do the first step, which is measuring it accurately to make sure how much to charge and how much grass is required. So Christoph, if you want to do it with yours and I'll do it with mine. .9. Same? 95. Okay. And again across. 2.4. So it's pretty simple, it's length by breadth, although in this case you will see that it's a triangular shape. Now everybody's garden is different, nobody's particularly square or rectangular, so we are going to have to calculate the minimum amount of grass needed to get the correct price. Next, we need to set up properly. All right. Okay. A very important step, of course, is having the correct setup. If you have the tools and equipment on site and in position, the correct amount of timber, hardcore, mulch, and of course other facilities, then everybody is ready to go. Thank you very much for that, Christoph. Now obviously a sod cutter isn't needed for a size this small, but it is a great labour saving device. In the absence of a sod cutter, the old-fashioned shovel and spade do the trick. You want to get down to a sufficient depth, which we'll look at in a moment, but meanwhile we can just roll this up nice and easy and get rid of it. Right, that's step one done. The soil and sod has been dug out and removed. Next thing I have to do is check the depth to make sure it's sufficiently deep given the area we're in, and that would be over 4 inches, that's over 10 centimetres. The reason we do this is to allow any rainwater to soak through and drain away. Next comes the treated timbers. Christoph, if you would please. We put a treated timber 2x1 or 4x2s surrounding the entire perimeter, which are staked and screwed into position so they'll never move. This is to allow the grass to be secured around the perimeter. Now, that's the timber securely in position. The next stage, Christoph, if you could, we have the 804 crushed stone going to be spread in the entire area to a depth of about 2/3 of what we already have. Be careful not to use shingle that's too small of a stone, but this stuff, when compacted, is a perfect base in order to have a good foundation. And now the hardcore is in position, it's been levelled off roughly, and Christoph is going to use the whacker plate to compact it, bearing in mind it will sink. Now, that's done, compacted nicely. So the next thing, Christoph is going to bring in some dust. Now you can use sand, mortar sand, plastering sand is better, but even building sand for a small area like this is perfectly adequate. This is going to be compacted into position as well. So now that the sand, or dust in this case, is in position and compacted, we're ready to lay the grass. However, you do have the optional extra of adding a layer of elastic foam. So now at last we're ready to lay the grass. Normally we would use a 4-metre wide roll. However, because of the triangular shaped area here, we're going to use a 2-metre piece, so inevitably there will be a join, which you will see us doing afterwards. Okay, we're nearing the end of our little project here now. You can see Christoph is carefully gluing an extra piece because, as we explained earlier, we were only using a 2-metre roll. We could have used a full area, but it would have been too much wastage. So we're adding one little triangle to the smallest area, and on the other side we're also adding a piece. We don't claim that joins are entirely invisible, but they are pretty obscure and people wouldn't buy it if it was too obvious. You can judge yourself when it's finished. And so we come to the last stage before tidying up. We are using an air compressor with a staple gun which hammers in small metal staples, thereby holding the grass into position onto the timber. And that's pretty much job done. Right now I'm standing on one of the 2 joins. We would ask that people stay off it for 12 to 24 hours to allow the glue to adhere correctly. Most people are condemned to have to cut their grass on a frequent basis. Right now, I'm going to give it a quick sweep. We recommend you do this once every couple of months to keep the debris from building up. We're going to finish off with a blower and should leave it nice and pristine.